what you want, what you want.
What's up, YouTube? FatKingsTV coming at you for my week 44 update from vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which I had back in July of 2013, and the details are below. Let's start off with NSV. No, let's start off with shout outs real quick. I got a large shirt in the mail from Gastric Tiger. That's a Tiger's shirt, and I should have worn it today, but I had already worn it. It's in the wash. So, and I got this shirt, I pulled it out and I looked at it. It was size large, which is what I wear, but it was that flexible kind of sporting material. And I thought, I hope this stretches because it doesn't look like it's going to fit. And then I put it on and it fit perfectly. I mean, it was plenty of room in it. So it just goes to show you, I think like Gooch talked about this in his video, you know, mentally speaking, I still don't see those clothes fitting me. I still think I'm bigger than I am. And that's, I don't know how long that's going to go on, maybe forever. But thank you, Scott, for that. I also wanted to talk about K-Star is 0.4 pounds. That's 0.4 pounds away from goal. And she refuses to call it because, as she said, half a pound could screw you up in a week. That's true. I guess I'll give her credit where credit's due. If it was me, I'd be the same way. I wouldn't call it until, you know, if I was 210.4, I'd be like, well, we're almost there. So good on you, sister, and congrats. All right. NSVs, I am going to talk about. The new counselor I've been working with is great. Good guy. Really giving me the ability to kind of just kind of voice some stuff and work through it, and maybe out loud. And they gave me some printouts and things to read, which I thought was great. Helped me kind of think about that in a whole nother way. So that was kind of cool. Nice to see some commonalities in some of the things I've been dealing with some other you know, studies that have been done and things like that. So I'm not too I'm not feeling too bad about it now. I'm kind of feeling like, oh, maybe this is a normal process. So as I get a little further in, if I feel like sharing more, I will. But right now, not so much. My nutritionist is great too. She's been working really hard with me to focus on shifting my priority from weight loss into fat loss as I move forward. I definitely, like I said in the past, I want to bulk up a little bit. In order to do that, I'm obviously gonna have to bump up my calories once I get to my my actual weight goal, and then work out harder. So my weight may come back up 5 pounds, but I want it to be muscle. So I want to monitor the body fat at the same time. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. And she's been working with me to kind of get a plan ready to put into action there. So that's kind of where we're at on NSVs. Strange NSV, but both of those things are going well, so I'll take it. All right, let's get to the numbers. The numbers this week, we'll start off with day of surgery. I was 332.8 pounds. That was first thing in the morning, right before I left for the hospital, buck naked on the scale. That's how I weigh every week. Just take it in. Think about it. Let it happen. So that would be 151 kilograms. This morning I was 213.8 or 97 kilograms even. I do not know how... Well, 97 kilograms, even if you do the rounding. I don't know how that happened this week. To be honest, I thought the days of the 2.4 pound loss were gone. I had a couple days where I was over 1,000 calories easily. I was in 1,100 calories one day, maybe two. Mainly protein stuff, but still it was over. Some new foods this week too, which I thought would throw me off. Didn't seem to. But yeah, congrats to me, I guess. 2.4 pounds this week is 1.1 kilograms. Which brings me to a total loss of 119.0, very close to the 120, and 54 kilograms even. So again, with the rounding. The pounds are to the 10th. That's on my scale measures, but the kilograms I tend to round as I do the conversion. So that should be about right. If you see a problem with my math, let me know. All right, so that's that. All right, so I told you guys I was going to cover one big topic this week on the feels section of all this. And it's been a very emotional kind of week. I've gone through a lot of soul searching on some things, and just, you know, how some of the conflicts within me have been going on with some issues I'm dealing with. Again, I'll share more once I get a little more insight into them. But, you know, just trying to decide what's the right thing to do and what I want to do, and trying to determine whether this renaissance of, hey, I want this, therefore that's good. I should be aware of the things I want and maybe give those a little more attention than I have in the past, versus knowing what I should do or what I ought to do or what's right. You know, again, Kirk famously coined the 50 Shades of Phil. You know, kind of delving into that gray. And I think this week was more of a pullback to the black and white kind of right and wrong kind of perspective that I've had. But that also has given me some challenges where I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but like where I had one day where I was just dead sure I was going to just do this thing. And then as I explored it and was in the process of executing that decision, I kind of saw, you know, some other sides of it, got some other input on it, and kind of went back to the drawing board a little. But I was much more comfortable with it after the fact too. Like a little bit more of an acceptance kind of situation. So I know these are all very vague, but you know, maybe if you're going through the same thing, maybe some of these words will ring bells for you. So all that brought me back to the question that Sarah posed, Northern Oregon Sarah, that at the end of her goal video, which was, are you using the excuse of not being selfish to avoid being courageous? And boy, is that kind of a tailor-made for me, because I've always been that black and white kind of dude. I have always put the right thing ahead of my own needs or my own wants. So I often have been caught saying duty before desire. You must serve your duty before your desire. So I'm struggling with that. So am I using that to not be courageous now? Or is that just how I've always been, and have I always not been courageous? Have I used that as a crutch to say, well, I'm doing the noble thing here. I'm doing the right thing. It's always the hard thing, because the right thing is always the hard thing, right? That's how you know it's the right thing. I mean, if it was easy, it's probably not the right thing. It's probably the wrong thing. You know, where do I draw that line? Is doing the right thing the courageous thing? Is that sacrifice? Is that nobility of sacrifice truly noble? Is it truly, or am I just playing by a rule book that nobody else plays by? Because I do go through life and notice that whenever I follow the rules and other people just circumvent them, they seem to get the rewards that I'm just waiting in line for. For example, and I'll just use this as an example, we have these standing desks at work. They raise and lower. And, you know, they don't have a ton of them. It's like they're swapping out every desk. So you put your name in and, hey, I'm interested in getting one of these desks. And you put your name on the list and you wait your turn, sometimes 3 months, 4 months. So it's been about 3 or 4 months. And I noticed I'm not very much higher up on the list. Well, it's because people are going out and getting medical, you know, waivers to get these desks faster. Now, they don't need them any more than I do. I'm sure there's a few people that do. But they're just they're gaming the system in order to get the desk earlier. Now, to me, that's just wrong. So I won't do it. I won't go to the doctor and say, hey, oh man, my loose skin's bothering me. I'm not going to make any kind of great, you know, hey, I just lost all this weight and sitting hurts my tailbone, which is not a lie. You know, hey, I need this standing desk. I need it. You know, I can really play it up, but that's not the right thing to do, right? That's wrong. It's still wrong, and I know it's wrong. So if I do it, now I'm doing things that are wrong. And I got to live with that. I've been struggling a lot with doing things that are wrong and living with that. I don't operate well that way. I walked out of a grocery store a couple days ago and I bought these sunglasses, and they're like $16, something cheap. They're cheapy throwaway glasses. I got home and I realized the receipt. I'm like, God, that seemed like it was kind of cheap, that all that stuff I bought for having a, you know, extra $20 in there for glasses or whatever it was. I looked on the receipt and they weren't there. So I went back and I paid for them. Now, I didn't have to, but I just couldn't live with the fact that I'm walking around with a pair of stolen sunglasses, basically. Whether it's their fault or my fault, it doesn't matter. I'd say, I got to fix it. So this is the kind of stuff I've been struggling with, but more so with that stuff's easy, right? So that's the easy stuff. The hard stuff is, you know, some of the heavier things that come down as you, and I've talked about this before, as you lose weight and you are interjecting yourself into new types of situations, or new types of situations are being injected onto you. You know, how do you deal with that? How do you struggle with that? And if you make a choice that's for you, that doesn't hurt anybody else, but maybe technically you think's not exactly the complete right thing, how do you deal with that? And I'm not saying that I'm judging anybody else in the community. I think other people have struggled with this as well. And certainly, you know, I have no personal knowledge, so I can't, nor would it be my business to share it if I did. But, you know, I see everybody, I see a lot of people struggling with similar situations and similar, challenges. So I'm left with the question, not being selfish to avoid being courageous. I don't know. And that's something that I'm going to continue to have to juggle, because I think that there are a lot of gray lines in there, and where I want to stand and where I'm comfortable standing might be two different things. I have certainly in the past sacrificed my own happiness and even negotiated my own desires away for the betterment of others. Now, you do that for your kids, right? I mean, you put your kids' needs usually before yours. That's your job. You're a parent, especially when they're young. They get older, then that's different. They can take care of themselves. But you know, we do this every day, right? We do this at work. We do this with our spouses. We do this kind of stuff all the time. And I think before I was more inclined to negotiate my happiness away or my needs down, because I felt like this is what I'm bringing to the table. You know, I hate to just use this as a relationship thing, is it certainly not fair to my wife, because she doesn't have an opportunity to talk about this. And I'm not saying this specifically, but maybe I make a decision with her that I'm like, well, I'm lucky to have what I have here. I'm gonna have to live with this thing that bugs me. Maybe same thing with a job would be the same. Like, oh, I like this job a lot, so I'm gonna have to deal with this one thing, because if I want to get the promotion, I got to try a little harder than the next guy because I'm the big guy on the team or whatever. That's all gone now, right? So that big guy on the team, whether it's at home or at work, it's gone. I'm not that guy anymore. And I don't act like that guy anymore. I don't feel like that guy anymore. I can do things with my body that that guy couldn't do. And I'm, for the risk of sounding completely arrogant, know that I look better than that guy did. My clothes fit differently. I carry myself differently. I know in my head that I'm more, I'm a little more, I won't say, the word I want to use is not exactly the word that comes across well, but I'm more likely to be okay with drawing attention to myself than I was before. In other words, I'm okay if somebody's looking at me. It's like, okay, yeah, look, these shorts fit great. This shirt fits great. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I feel like I look all right today. You know, I'm okay with this. Do I have problems with my body still? Sure, I do. But all in all, I catch myself in the mirror. I'm like, wow, look, if I didn't have this loose skin here, that would be looking great right now. And that sounds so arrogant, but I am finally starting to get comfortable with my body, which is weird. You're talking about after 40 some odd years. That's something else, so that's all in there too. And that all plays into it. So I don't have an answer for this question. And I don't think I'm going to have an answer to this question. I think this is a question you have to struggle with every day and find that new line as you get to your goal weight, and that will then play into your other goals that you have set out for yourself, whether they're life goals, whether they're activity goals, whether they're whatever they are. So that's that. That's what I got today. Not a lot of answers, just more questions, boys and girls. So that's it. Okay, so we're coming up on goal, right? So 3.8 pounds goal weight. I definitely want to do a goal video. I got a bunch of stuff in mind. From the time I hit goal, though, to the time I make the goal video, that's going to be tricky, right? So if I weigh in on Tuesday morning one morning and it's 209.9 or 210 even, I'm not going to be able to make that goal video that night. I'm going to have more time. So we'll see where I fall on that, because I don't know whether there's certain things I want to do. I could probably prep a lot of them in advance, but not all of them. I want to wait till goal to do the other thing. So we shall see. So we'll figure it out. But so stay tuned. All right, we are getting close to that 15-minute mark as usual. I have to edit this because I went down a path I suddenly realized I was not comfortable with, and I cut it and went back and remade half this video. So It is what it is. All right, guys. Until next week, we'll see you later. Oh, just a reminder, Fat Kings will not be coming back until first week of June, maybe second week of June. I got to talk to Tyrone and see when he gets settled in his new digs, and we'll go from there. So until then, remember, good to be the king.